Welcome to Bengals Breakdown, the heartbeat of Who Dey Nation, where the talk is real, the takes are sharp, and everything is 100% Cincinnati Bengals. Today, we've got two big stories brewing in the jungle. First up, ESPN just dropped their official quarterback rankings after tapping into the minds of NFL scouts, coaches, and executives. And guess what? Joe Burrow came in at number 3. Yep, 3. We're diving into why that's not sitting right, and why Burrow should be much higher on that list. Spoiler, it's not just fan bias. But that's not all. Jamar Chase recently hit a podcast and revealed the toughest cornerback he's faced in the NFL. His answer? It's going to surprise a lot of people, and honestly, I think he's spot on. But some fans are already pushing back. Before we jump into the latest Bengals buzz, do me one quick favor. If you're riding with Joe Burrow and the Bengals this season, hit that like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell so you never miss a beat from Bengals Breakdown. All right, let's talk Joe Burrow. So according to ESPN, and let's be clear, this isn't just some media ranking. They surveyed NFL insiders, guys in the building, decision makers. These are people with real access and insight. And even with that, Burrow lands at number 3. Now, yes, top 3 is elite. But if you've watched Burrow play through adversity, injuries, hostile playoff environments, you know he's more than just a top 3 QB. He's the heartbeat of the Bengals, and arguably the most mentally composed quarterback in the league. We'll break down the logic behind his placement, what the insiders said, and why some of those arguments just don't hold up. Let's get into it. Last season, Joe Burrow was ranked 2nd. This year, he slips to 3rd. And honestly, that just doesn't add up. Let's be real. Burrow battled through adversity and still put together one of the most efficient, poised seasons of any quarterback in the league. The way he reads defenses, his leadership, his accuracy, it's elite. So when ESPN drops him a spot despite everything he accomplished, it feels like the people voting weren't watching the same film we were. Now look, Patrick Mahomes at number 1? Sure, the resume speaks for itself. MVPs, Super Bowls, big moments. But this ranking is supposed to reflect the most recent season, not a career achievement award. And if you're basing it on 2024 performance alone, Burrow was simply more consistent and more impactful than Mahomes. Then there's Josh Allen at number 2. Allen is a physical freak, no doubt. But when it comes to head-to-head competition, the Bengals have made it crystal clear. Joe Burrow owns that matchup. From regular season to postseason, Cincinnati has completely controlled the Bills, and Burrow has outplayed Allen every step of the way. As for Lamar Jackson, sitting at number 4, that's fair. The Bengals and Ravens have one of the most heated rivalries in football right now, and Lamar always brings his best. But even then, Burrow has shown time and again that he can elevate under pressure and close out tight games, something that continues to separate him from the rest. And don't even get me started on Jaden Daniels at number 5. Respect the breakout rookie season, no doubt. But ranking him just 2 spots behind Joe Burrow after one hot year? That's wild. It feels like people are so quick to chase the next big thing. They forget just how elite Joe Burrow already is. He's not flashy. He's just surgical. And if you're building a franchise around one QB today, Burrow should still be in your top 2. No debate. When Joe Burrow is fully healthy, he doesn't just play quarterback. He masters it. There's a level of precision and calm in his game that few quarterbacks in the NFL can match. Not hype. Just cold, clinical execution. Yet somehow, he's sitting at number 3 on ESPN's list, behind players who simply didn't match his command of the game, head-to-head results, or overall impact last season. Forget what Justin Herbert could be when healthy. Burrow has already shown what elite looks like, and not just in flashes. He's done it deep in the playoffs, in big-time moments, over and over again. Now, These rankings gave love to quarterbacks like Jared Goff, Jalen Hurts, and even Baker Mayfield. And hey, credit to all of them. But let's be real, none of those guys are in Burrow's league when it comes to reading defenses, clutch throws, or owning the moment in playoff football. We don't need to get caught up in the feel-good stories or breakout campaigns. This list is about who the best quarterbacks truly are. And Joe Burrow is right near the top whether you look at tape or talk to opposing coaches. So let's talk facts for a second. Burrow versus Josh Allen. Go ahead, pull up the numbers. Look at completion percentage, red zone efficiency, third down success, playoff wins. Burrow checks every box. And when these two meet on the field, Burrow doesn't flinch. He outduels, outsmarts, and flat out wins. You can call this ranking objective, but here's my one-word reaction to Burrow being third. Wrong. This isn't about popularity or market size. This is about football. And if you're building a team to win games in January and February, Joe Burrow isn't third. He's first or second, and that's being generous. Dropping Joe Burrow from second to third just doesn't make sense, especially when his performance last season was arguably one of the most impressive of his career. Yes, Josh Allen had a great year. Nobody's denying that. He earned the MVP. He led a dangerous Buffalo offense and pushed Kansas City in the postseason. But here's the difference. Joe Burrow was better when it mattered most. He's more accurate. He's more efficient. And his football IQ shows in every high-stakes moment. What Burrow did with a battered offensive line, a below-average run game, and a defense that struggled all season, that's elite quarterbacking, period. One league executive even admitted it, saying, "I get the guy has two elite wideouts, but their run game was average. The offensive line was not very good either. Their defense was poor, and yet he kept them in every single game." I thought it might have been his best year yet, but it didn't get the same attention because of other high-profile teams. That's a direct quote, and he's absolutely right. So if someone inside the NFL is calling it possibly Burrow's best season and acknowledging everything he overcame, then how does that not translate into a higher ranking? You can't praise his leadership, his poise, and his performance under pressure, then dock him for things that were completely out of his control. And let's not forget, when healthy, Burrow has taken the Bengals further than Josh Allen ever has. That matters. This ranking feels less like an analysis and more like an oversight. Look, no one's questioning Patrick Mahomes' greatness. He's already cemented himself as a generational talent. But let's be honest, if these quarterback rankings are supposed to reflect the most recent season, then why is he still automatically placed at number one? Last year was Mahomes' most inconsistent season yet. More turnovers, less efficiency, and far more reliance on the Chiefs' defense than we've seen in previous years. Yes, he got to the Super Bowl. That's Mahomes for you. But it wasn't the usual dominant performance we've come to expect. And still, he's ranked ahead of Joe Burrow. Here's the real order based on performance, poise, and total command of the game. 1. Joe Burrow. 2. Patrick Mahomes. 3. Josh Allen. Yes, Allen had a statistically impressive year and walked away with the MVP. But he also had moments, head-scratching ones, that you don't see from Burrow. Game-altering mistakes, questionable reads, turnovers in critical moments. That part of Allen's game hasn't fully disappeared. Burrow? He plays chess. He sees it before it happens. And even without the benefit of an elite O-line, a dominant run game, or a top-ranked defense, he still kept the Bengals competitive every single week. Let's bring it back to the numbers. Completion percentage? Burrow takes it. Red zone efficiency? Advantage? Burrow. Decision-making under pressure? Not even close. Sure, Cincinnati didn't go 13-4. They went 9-8. But context matters. And if you actually watched the games, you saw a quarterback who refused to fold. That's what separates a great season from an MVP narrative. And here's the truth. If Burrow wore a bigger market jersey or had a flashier narrative, he'd be holding that trophy too. Now let's talk numbers. And they're not even close. Joe Burrow threw 43 touchdowns last season. Josh Allen? Just 28. That's not a small gap. That's a statement. Passing yards per game? Again, clear edge to Burrow. Yes, he threw a few more picks, but the production and impact speak volumes. This is a quarterback who carried the Bengals' offense, even when everything around him wasn't perfect. And yet, people look at you like you're crazy when you say, yeah, I'd take Joe Burrow over Josh Allen. Well, here's the thing. Most fans haven't really dug into the stats, let alone the context behind them. Because when you do, Burrow's case becomes undeniable. He's doing this behind a shaky offensive line, with minimal run support, and while constantly dodging pressure. Yet the Bengals stayed in games, fought through adversity, and never looked overwhelmed because of Joe. So yeah, I'll say it again. Burrow is the best quarterback in the NFL right now. And no list. Not from ESPN. Not from anonymous scouts. And not from the execs. Changes that. Let's talk about something that doesn't get said enough. Jamar Chase just gave Denzel Ward his flowers. And honestly, he's spot on. In a recent interview, Chase was asked about the toughest cornerback he's faced in the NFL so far. His answer? It's easy. Denzel Ward. That might surprise casual fans. But Bengals fans know the truth. Ward plays him twice a year, often in tight man coverage with little help. That kind of matchup tests a receiver's entire skill set, and Chase knows it. He talked about Ward's elite footwork, leverage, and ability to read splits. Traits that don't always show up on a stat sheet, but every elite receiver respects. And it makes sense. Cleveland's defense, for all its inconsistency, has done one thing consistently: make life tough for Chase. Not every game, sure. Jamar's had his breakout moments. But if you watch the tape, Denzel Ward earns that respect. That kind of rivalry, Chase versus Ward, is part of what makes the AFC North so fun to watch. It's physical, it's personal, and it's only getting better. Now ask yourself, where does Denzel Ward really rank among the NFL's top corners? Because when Jamar Chase puts you at the top, you're doing something right. Every time the Bengals face Cleveland, Denzel Ward finds a way to make a statement. Whether it's a pass breakup, a perfectly timed jam at the line, or blanket coverage on Jamar Chase, Ward always shows up. He had 19 pass breakups last season, and that's not a fluke. That's elite anticipation, elite reaction, and elite football IQ. He's physical, he's technical, and he plays with that chip you need to survive in the AFC North. And here's the thing. If he played anywhere but Cleveland, we'd be talking about him totally differently. The guy has been stuck on a team that's always fighting inconsistency, but he's been the constant. You plugged that kind of talent into Cincinnati's defense last year? That's not just a small upgrade. That's the difference between 9-8 and the postseason. Ward on the Bengals secondary would have changed everything, from coverage assignments to blitz flexibility to fourth quarter confidence. While some fans throw out names like Patrick Surtain too as the best in the league. And yeah, Surtain is phenomenal. There's no denying Ward belongs in that tier. Just ask Jamar Chase. There's respect there for a reason. Bottom line, Denzel Ward is a problem. And when your WR1 is calling him the toughest matchup of his career, you pay attention. Bengals fans have seen it firsthand, and they'd welcome having that kind of shutdown corner on their side any day.